Thanks for tuning in to another show in the next Reel family of film podcasts.
Want to skip those ads and get early access?
Become a member at truestory.fm/join and discover all the other great perks that come with it.
Hello, and welcome to another harrowing episode of Sitting in the Dark here on truestory.fm. I'm Tommy Metz III, and I'll be your host for this episode as we discuss the Smile franchise, in an occasion I'm unfortunately calling Grin and Scare It. Sorry about that. But as usual, I have brought along a co-host that I will let take the reins for just a minute while I finish off my pre-show Beef Wellington. Actually, this week I brought along two co-hosts, so please sit back and enjoy the dulcet tones of horror legends Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees. Guys, take it away. Thanks, fellas. Okay, my other co-hosts are the filmmaker extraordinaire Chelsea Stardust. Say hello, Chelsea.
Hello.
And the one and only podfather, the peerless Pete Wright. Peter, hello to you.
Hello, Thomas. That was a brilliant introduction. Theater of the absurd.
They don't talk. Get it?
Yeah, I did get it, and I'm proud of you.
Characters that I can do.
It is the biggest short swing you could take. Going from Crypt Keeper to silence is enormous and out of character. Well done.
Yeah, I wrote that quote unquote joke and said, "Well, we'll see how this goes."
Well,
all right. So let's get to all things Smile, and if with your approval, I will talk at you for a second, and then I will open this up.
Yes.
The Smile franchise is one in a long line of recent, quote, elevated horror films that use loss or trauma as the real villain in the movie, that your metaphorical reaction to trauma can actually be life-threatening. Babadook, Hereditary, Midsommar, the latest Invisible Man, and a lot of Mike Flanagan's work, including Oculus and Gerald's Game, explores this. But this idea has also been explored way back in films like The Others, and before that, Carrie, and before that, Psycho, maybe the first horror movie ever made, no one knows. Why I picked this franchise in particular is I personally think, and this is up for discussion, I think it does an incredible job of showing how damaging trauma can be to your actual sanity, and how the world around you can become as unreliable and unsafe as, say, it is for someone experiencing mental illness or dementia. In this way, this is a particularly effective mix of both terror and horror, with the terror of being chased around by figures around you, mixed with the horror of not being able to trust your own eyes as reality breaks down and you are seemingly hunted even by many of those that are your trusted friends and family. This is the type of horror that really haunts me the most and has been in a lot of the movies I've brought up for discussion on this podcast, even in non-traditional horror movies like The Father. In my opinion, nothing is scarier than feeling like you're going crazy or feeling like your mind has trapped you in a living nightmare. As the monster at the end of Smile 1 says to Rose, you can't escape your own mind. And as the monster in Smile 2 offers, the darkness within us, quote, likes how our minds taste. What we're talking about is the original 2019 short film. All of these are written and directed by Parker Finn. It's called Laura Hasn't Slept, which he has said, I believe, is canon and is the prequel to Smile, which then follows into Smile 2. Chelsea, what have you seen of these? I think when I announced this last time, you seemed excited.
oh yes. Everything all in everything. The movies in the theaters, and both of them, and then of course the short film. So it was great to revisit. I've actually recently watched Smile, so it was nice to revisit the short and the second one. So I'm a big fan of all three of these.
Oh, excellent. And I didn't really know about the short, but they cleverly included it on the DVD or digital release. And so that's why it sort of really skyrocketed. Pete, how about you, mister?
I had seen Smile and Smile 2. I had never seen the short. I had never heard of it or explored it or known that I needed to want to see it. And I've rectified all of those things, and now have seen it, and I love it. No, I'm I am a big fan of these movies, and it was surprising watching them under the context of this show. I'm really curious to see where you go with it.
Me too. Okay, so let's start with Laura Hasn't Slept, made in 2018, I think, and then was in South by Southwest 2019, something like that. Any axes to grind? I know I have one. but I wanted to open it up in case you guys had anything you wanted to get off your chest.
The only axe to grind is they gave him how much money to make this short? This thing looked great. Crazy.
It's a mix of so much practical and non-practical stuff. And it's just, it is a hire me. It is a resume.
It's a real
short film.
sure.
It's incredible. Yeah.
It's incredible. No, I have no axes.
Yeah, same.
My only axe is the jump scare at the very, very end is very effective, but that real face demon, I think, looks kind of goofy. We got much better demon monsters in Smile and Smile 2. This guy just sort of looks like a meatball with eyes. So I'm always just like, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's like the Muppet version of the Smile Beast.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I don't know why Trauma has a felt tongue.
Right.
So this one, of course, focuses more on sleep deprivation and nightmares. Like she's not seeing things manifest in real life as much, I believe, as she's talking about having the same nightmare over and over again. And then she's seeing some of the figures later. I think in the credits, the creature is even called the Nightmare. So this one is much more of a Nightmare on Elm Street kind of vibe than the Smile movies. What did you guys think about this? What stuck out to you? Pete, was there anything that seemed, other than the budget, what seemed the most effective?
Well, I'll say the budget, but mostly therapy. The therapy session framing, I think, was really, really effective, especially because we get the conceit that therapy, which should be, and I think I might be the first person to say this, a safe space, it turns out is not safe. And the conceit of the smile, which should be warm and inviting and pleasant, is definitely not. It's haunting and diabolical and predatory. And the fact that we get both of those in such a short sort of proof of concept, I think was very, very effective. That really sticks out to me. We also, I mean, in terms of the technical DNA, the fact that the film leans so heavily in on close-ups of faces, right, especially mouths. I mean, the slow zooms. There's a lot of spatial discomfort in the short that I think it's just doing so many things. It's juggling so many balls in the air at the same time. Very, very effective.
I think one of my favorite moments watching it the first time, but also rewatching it, is the reveal of she's in the dream. I love that so much. I think that's so smart that she's in the dream with the man. Again, also thinking about safe space with therapists and in those worlds, and then that moment when you realize it. But also is because I guess in this one we were saying that in the movie how they start coming into your life kind of has this like It Follows element to it. But in this, I think she's still in the dream. She's in a dream. So it was interesting that this being the seed, because obviously, and the lead character in this, Caitlin Stasey, is in the opening of Smile. So I love that, connecting those pieces. And I just love that reveal, especially in something told in such a short amount of time, really kind of making a meal of everything, and just shows his strength as a director. And I love the kind of 360 of the room as it's changing. Those are sort of my highlights.
Oh, there's a really interesting thing going on there that I'm not sure how to describe. So tell me when I start sounding like a buffoon. I too think that there is something about dream language, but maybe what I really want to imagine is that what Laura is experiencing is the perspective of already being made off with by the virus, we'll call it for the sake of the other movies, that it's already taken hold. The entity is already taken hold of her, and that's because our perspective changes when we get to the other two movies. We're very much watching about the experience of these two women, and this one, maybe the experience is we're already inside it, like this could effectively be like, Tom, you said when you pitched this that these movies are in conversation with one another. You almost could just as easily put this movie at the end of the Smile 1 and 2 and imagine this is what happens after. Ugh.
Sure, like if you're just caught.
Yeah.
for forever. Yeah.
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 And I like the idea of dream language and the idea of the 360 because it's also it's really making the lie convincing because you don't have that type of perspective when you're dreaming. You don't have that full 360. One of the things that they do really follow is it's very reminiscent of Inception. When Cobb
Yes.
explains to Elliot Page's character, you never remember how you got to a place in a dream. You're just there. And so when the therapist says, "Why are you here, Laura?" "To stop having these dreams." "No, why are you in this office? Am I your
Yeah.
therapist? Have
Yeah.
we ever met before?" The light changes and the camera, it's the first time it does that queasy, slightly like just the world is starting to topple over. I shudder every single time, but I've seen this short so many times, and
Yeah.
every time it's like I'm just not ready for it. So I think that's really, really exciting. And what I like about, I know we're going to be talking about the Smile movies, obviously. I thought we'd do that too. Is one of the things that propels this forward for I think for so long before the turn is she is so convincingly terrified.
Yes.
I think she's an outstanding actress. And she's using so many of the phrases already that are going to be happening throughout Smile 1 and Smile 2. You're not listening to me. You're not listening to me. One of the things that he doesn't get to do because she starts in media res so terrified is do what Rose and Sky do so much is use smiles as masks. That the idea of a smile being a mask, she says in this short, it's like a mask, but it's not a mask because it's also a face. That can be just how you talk about smiles. Sky and Rose so many times are smiling and telling people just for the first half of their films, no, they're fine. Everything's fine. Rose is doing it to her husband. Sky's doing it to the world as a celebrity. And so starting that idea, he doesn't get to play with that as much. And he just gives the smile to the doctor. But I think it's a wonderful start to everything. There is one picture that I wanted to show when she there's one thing that takes place potentially outside of the nightmarish world that she's in. It's when she looks out the window, and that's LAS1, Pete. And audiences, you can, if you're listening on your phones or on a computer, you can look at your phone right now and you can see it. What did you guys think this was? This is obviously a still picture, but it was almost like lightning was going off. I have a idea of what I think this is, but did you guys how did you interpret this?
I thought it was her consciousness trying to wake up. So I thought
it looks like brain synapses.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
Like when you see in
Neurons.
like this of things, neurons firing. Yeah. Trying to wake up. I didn't even think about that. I was thinking of the way of she's just in her own mind. None of this is real. She's in a prison that she can't get out of. But I love the idea of her mind trying to push her to wake up. That's
like
even
when you
better.
have sleep paralysis and you're trying, the only way to wake yourself up is to scream or do something.
Right.
That's what I sort of read it as.
I love that. And this movie also, with the nightmare idea, this movie and I believe Smile 2 starts with the same noise. And I think it's the noise of, what is it called? A haptic jerk. It's when your body, when your reptile brain, you're falling off, I guess, what is it? You're falling off of a branch or something. And so your body wakes you up. So I think this is just an incredible calling card. That's the words that I was trying to use for Parker Finn. And I hope he made a bunch of other worse movies before he made this, because that's just not fair to come out like this, like to have all the money in the world and use it well
and do it right. Yeah.
And do it right in one space with two people. I mean, it's both economical where it can be and so broad otherwise. I'm just really impressed. I am ready to move on to Smile, actually. Do you guys want to
Let's do
go
it.
for it? Okay. So about 2 years later, Smile was made. We said both of you had seen it. Did you see it in the theaters?
I saw an early screening. Yeah.
Cool. Because of the company you were working with? Like
No.
you had access to it? Or
No, I think it was early as in like, I want to say, someone out there might correct me. I want to say Beyond Fest did a screening of it. I'm almost positive. Like before it came out. And Parker was there. I'm pretty sure. And so that's, was desperate to see it early. And so saw it before it like officially released here in LA. And it was
awesome.
an incredible, like way to see it with that group, and especially the Beyond Fest audience.
I bet, because I bet they were losing their minds.
Oh yeah.
Any axes to grind? I will talk about the axe that some people have had about these movies. When I said that they were slightly controversial for some people, there is an amount of people that think that the franchise is just too derivative, that it's really just made up of little parts from different movies. In particular, Elm Street, It Follows, Final Destination, and The Ring. The idea of this infection, this idea of death has a plan, not death has a plan, but the idea of this entity needing to have things follow a certain pattern and wanting to feed off of that. I don't find that as an axe to grind, because I think it's a wonderful mix and it uses it all really effectively. I think it's so its own thing, even with those elements.
Yeah, when you mentioned that, I kind of wasn't sure what you meant when you said that there was some pushback from people on it. Now hearing that, yes, I mean, a lot of times I'll watch something and be like, oh, that's, you can see it. I think it's less ripping those things off and more paying homage. Because the same thing was sort of said when Insidious came out. They were like, oh, this is Poltergeist. Oh, this is this. Oh, this is that. I just think this is taking the best parts of those things and putting it together in a very smart way. But also all of those movies are 10 plus years older. All of those are like over 10 years old. So there's a whole generation that has never even seen those movies or knows what they are. And this, because that becomes that for them. Like this becomes their Nightmare on Elm Street. This becomes their Ring. This becomes that for them. And so I can see people getting like, well, actually that's taken from this. But I think it's done in such a way that it's paying homage as opposed to straight up like stealing that stuff. But it's so many different elements together.
And building them all together seamlessly instead of just sort of piecemeal. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that accessibility isn't a sin, right? Like not every horror film needs to be completely and originally cryptic. It's okay to have a shorthand language of these things. I think if anything, if I talk about an axe for this movie, specifically the pacing in the middle of the film when we get into the investigating the origins of the curse, it slows down. The movie slows down, and it's not like I don't hate it. I'm in it the whole time. I love the movies, but the previous victims and the visiting prisons, there's a slower momentum that starts to feel much more procedural rather than terrifying to me in this first movie. And I totally get that any of her work investigating grounds the movie it grounds the supernatural stuff into something that we can research and make it feel more plausible and sort of, this is, you got to earn your wizards. This is earning the mysticism of the language of the smile sort of spread. But the film seems to peak kind of early, the hospital suicide, and takes a while to regain intensity for me.
Got it. That makes sense. I guess, part of that in what you're saying is it's also maybe it's like Smile walks so Smile 2 can run, Smile 2 is a freight train.
A freight train. Yes.
And so maybe we need that kind of, but no, it is much more conventional at times with the figuring out the backstory.
Yeah.
And the leading and like going to the prison, seeing the inmate of the vampire, explaining all of the different parts of it.
You know what I couldn't help but think of, Tom, is when we did our Asian mysticism episode, and
with Andy,
some of those movies that were over 3 hours long had this same issue going on. Like right in the middle, there's an hour in the middle that's just like, we're going to sit and eat some junk food and wonder in the mist. And we can move things along a little bit.
Yeah, I don't totally disagree with that on the pacing. For me, it's like, how many glasses are we going to break? How many glasses are we going to break in this movie? There's so many things.
So many.
I do like that. What a character calls it out, though. That's pretty funny. Rose, did you? break
I
another
know.
glass. Yeah.
I think sometimes it was like the pacing was making me anxious, which I think that's what it was meant to do. For some of the, as we get later in the movie, I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
But I think that was done on purpose. And I also think what you're talking, that section, I think that's done on purpose in a way.
Yeah.
But I don't totally disagree with that. I do think that we feel that in some places.
Do you feel that you understand the rules, for lack of a better phrase? Like what do each of these characters have in common?
Okay, this is I've been thinking about this because I think the first time I saw the movie, I did not understand the rules. In fact, I didn't watch this movie in the theater. I watched it as homework before I went to the theater to see Smile 2. And I don't think I actually understood the rules of Smile 1 until I watched it again after having watched Smile 2.
Mm.
Got it. Okay. Do you want to explain what the rules are now?
Oh no. Oh no, that's enormously risky.
Because it's not just
What if I'm wrong?
It's not just seeing someone kill themselves in front of you. There's more to that. There's a beginning part where each of these characters suffered through something during like formative years. We have, let's see, Rose found her overdose mom. Laura says her grandfather died in front of her when she was 7. Their professor's brother died when they were growing up, and quote, he never got over it. He went to a conference and saw that awful woman kill. All of these people had some prior thing, and I was wondering why that part of it was necessary. One of the things is everyone's guilty of something. In both
Mhm.
movies, you realize there's a reveal that Rose did not call 911. There is a reveal that Sky, just skipping ahead, did grab the wheel and cause the accident. So there's a little bit of redemption happening too. But then there was also the phrase that the therapist, when she was still a therapist, says in the first movie, you have wounds that have never fully healed, and it's possible they never will completely. That's the nature of trauma. I'm wondering
Mhm.
if the movies are also saying that because you were broken, that you're more susceptible to this. That potentially, that if you didn't have that prior trauma during formative years, your defenses would be up more, and you wouldn't be as vulnerable when you see something horrible happen, because
Well, knows it
people
can
see
feed.
horrible things
Yeah.
happen all the time, but because it's already sort of had a taste. Gross.
It's
Does
interesting
that
that
sound right?
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
I think
there's so much. I think so too, and I think there's so much to it around what this movie does differently, what makes this movie so bleak. I think one of the other criticisms that we didn't explicitly mention is that, a lot of the trauma talk, the monster as trauma metaphor, is really broken down in this movie. There's like no veil between the language they're using and the monster itself. Like, this is just a trauma monster, and they
Right.
use those words around it, and it's so on the nose that is perceived as a sort of criticism. But what's really interesting about it to me is that, like, there is no hope. Even if you are aware and you're, quote, doing the work in your, quote, safe spaces, there is no hope for these people at the end of this movie. There is no that which does not kill us makes us stronger vernacular in these movies, right?
Right.
We are exposed, we are broken, we are unhealed at the end of these movies.
And then we pass our trauma
Pass it on.
On
Yeah.
to
the
others.
next.
Yeah. Right.
You consume someone else in your trauma,
Mhm.
which is incredibly bleak and unforgiving, and I think makes these movies stand out.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
there isn't, and they all have final girl moments, final woman moments, and that turn out to be a lie.
They're alive.
I mean,
Yeah.
Parker Finn is really, it's like sitting down and being like, what do I expect if I was watching this movie? Okay, I'm gonna turn right instead of left. I mean, he just keeps doing it,
Mhm.
which is really exciting. I do, and I also, in that same way, it doesn't have sometimes a great look on therapy, both in the short of Laura hasn't slept and Smile. I mean, one of the first things that we see Rose say is, Carl, I know that what you're experiencing feels real, but it can't hurt you. I promise. That's one of the many promises that she breaks
Yeah.
in the movie. People are constantly promising things that turn out not to be true, and a lot of them are in either therapist or maternal roles. And so
Yes.
we're telling almost like children, there aren't monsters under your bed, and there are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many monsters under your bed, and they're
The
just
first
waiting.
monster is I'm a liar.
Right.
And
Yeah.
which is I think such an interesting take, that the ideology of the movie, it is set in a space of healing and nurturing, supposedly, and ends up, the explicit ideology is that you are alone.
Yeah.
Right. It's not just hopeless, it's lonely, because no one will understand you, and those who do, their grief is going to swallow you whole.
Right. It's a betrayal of
Mhm.
sorts, which is,
Yeah.
it's it's incredibly bleak, but I'm I was gonna say I'm proud of the movie. That's not the words. I was getting too paternal. Like, I just admire. That's the words. I admire the movie for just being that unforgiving. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what makes it. I was talking about terror versus horror. That's the horror part
Mhm.
of it, is there is
Yeah.
no escape. Um,
And no one's
what
going
did
to
you
believe
guys?
you.
No one's going to believe you, right? Exactly. You are an island.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of I think especially when we start in the hospital, the color palette of this movie is pretty
Oh, yeah.
significant. Did you have, and I get ready for some pictures.
I'm ready.
Um,
Yes.
do you have thoughts about it, or do you want me to say how I interpreted it? What's the best way to do
Oh,
this? I don't want to talk at you, but
Oh,
I
no,
think we should look at a picture.
yeah, let's,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, so to go to Smile 1. Okay, so if you're
Yeah,
looking at
yeah.
the picture, most of this movie seems to be shades of blue, shades of pink or red, and then yellow. Um, and these are seen throughout. It's everyone's wearing different shades of this stuff. Backgrounds are constantly this. It's even in the natural world with Smile 2 of the police lights.
Yeah.
Oh, Smile
Yeah.
2, the picture.
Oh, you want Smile 2
I
up
want
now.
Smile 2. Sorry, I forgot that the
Okay.
film. Nope.
Yeah.
Smile
That's hidden. Shush, don't look at that.
Smile
God,
2.
you guys.
The police lights,
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
are,
Yeah.
and so those are just a wash and everything. And then if you go back to Smile 1, you don't have to, but there's the vase holding the yellow flowers. I
Yeah.
think that yellow really seems to be kind of like in M. Night Shyamalan's movies, that red is a signal of either evil or danger or something's coming. There's a lot of yellow in this movie too, and it's always when things are about, when like the demon is starting to do its thing.
Yeah.
Like for instance, if you go to Smile 3,
Mm-hmm.
look, that's the yellow present, and we
Yeah.
know what's in that box. She doesn't know
Yeah.
what's in that box, but it's not going well. And that is also right before she has her hallucination with the security system. And so she's already in a hallucinative moment. And so I
Right.
think that's part of the yellow. When she's listening to the Smile 4, when she's listening to the audio tape of her when she was with Laura, that's a mix of, I think, yellow. I mean, it looks orange in this picture, unfortunately, but again, that's blue with yellow sort of reaching up and infecting it. Smile 5, the professor's room of crazy has a
Mhm.
yellow door, and it's obviously on purpose because we start in the room before it opens. The other side of the door is white. And so he made it
Interesting.
purposeful to be yellow. Is there anything else? Let's just go through them real quick. Smile 6. This is right before
They're out of order. Go ahead.
this is right before the
Blue and
therapist,
yellow.
who turns
Yeah.
out not to be the therapist. That's yellow infecting the blue. And then finally, just for instance, Smile 7. This will be the last one. And I promise I won't do all of these. He's about to
yeah.
rip his face off. Look at his
Mhm.
tie. It's the only
Yeah.
time that he's wearing a tie like that. So that's my thinking.
It's effectively a miniature of the pattern that was on the box.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't even catch that. You're right.
Yeah.
What if he was wearing like a dead cat around his, and you'd be like, all right, Parker, I don't know about that. And so I really like, it's a little strong for me, especially the hospital. It's almost suffocatingly blue and pink,
Yeah.
but it made me pay attention to it. And and these things are just theories. I don't know if that's really true, but it seemed consistent enough
Yeah.
that he was pointing things out. Also, pink and blue are generally seen as happy and sad colors. I'm feeling blue or pink. And so that could also be the juxtaposition of smiling when you're actually dying inside, which Rose is doing constantly.
The other piece in that first sequence, like the first death, I mean, red of the blood stands out heavily. And in places where red is bleeding out on white floors, on white clothes, I think white is the other one, which is kind of that in-between state of false purity. And it is constantly punctuated by the actual viscera of trauma around that's going on in the scenes. It keeps the the actual killing in that first sequence kind of isolated to a part of the room. You can see exactly where the boundaries of the trauma exist in space,
right?
Because of that red
juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Because it's being
white.
stained.
It's being stained.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another promise that is broken. The cop tells Rose, whatever happened to those other people is not going to happen to you. I promise.
Yeah.
Just everyone that's trying to help. It's just all these broken promises.
Stop promising. God.
What did you guys think about the score?
I love it.
How would you
So
describe it? I know I'm sort of calling, like springing this on you, but because there is traditional music, but then there's also this other layer.
It's like a soundscape, right?
Right.
Yeah. Unsettling.
It sounds really discordant.
Yeah.
Like it sounds alien. It sounds like you're listening to a language that you cannot understand at times. And it sounds like maybe it's dialogue and sounds from the film being distorted, because that 100% happens in Smile 2, especially at the end of the credits of Smile 2, which we will get to, is it's remixing drama as score. Yeah.
But isn't it so? I forgive me, because now it's been a little while since I watched it, but I think it's using recordings of breath, right, and like mouth sounds and vocal scrapes and things that are all pitch shifted and time stretched and reversed. And
it sounds like dialogue and sounds from the movie in reverse, or like upside down. And upside down would make a lot of sense because there's so much upside down imagery.
And so they register as human, but barely.
Yeah.
And that's super unsettling, right? It's familiar and not. It's like someone's smile, but smile infected smile and not real warm human smile, right?
Right. Yeah. You can recognize it, but because it's been thwarted, it makes it uncanny.
Yeah, it's like a beautiful score that's also dying at the same time.
Yeah, and it's definitely the reality as you know it, as your characters know it, will never be the same again. So it's lending to that, it's very much making you, the audience member, try to feel more of what they are feeling and experiencing. And it's a way to imprint it on your audience who's watching. It's like, how do I make my audience feel another level of what this character's feeling? Or going through.
That's outstanding point. Yeah, it's putting you in their headspace.
Yeah.
I think it uses the drone too, like that sub-bass drone that's super common in these kinds of things. It's like that, oh my God, why do I can't hear anything, but I think I'm going to throw up, right? That's my experience.
I feel crazy.
A little bit. Right.
Everyone else hears that, right? Looking around left and right.
That's it, right? It's like it is the sound of anxiety and dread and and nausea.
I also need to say, I just want to give a special shout out to Joel, who's the cop, Kyle Gallner, who of course we've talked about in Strange Darling. And but he is, because he comes back in Smile 2 in such a big way. But I really feel for his character, I have to say.
Yeah.
He's also the one who's like, yes, I want to help you figure this out, which you don't always get those characters in these kind of movies that want to help figure it out. And his performance is so great. But I know when I saw the second one, I was very surprised by the beginning, which I'm sure we'll talk about. and just in a way I did not expect.
Yeah,
But his performance is great.
I completely agree. No, and he's the ultimate tragic figure in all of this. He's the one that's consumed, and we're rooting for him the whole time. What do you think about the monster? And then I think maybe, unless we have other things we can, because the monster is two parts. It's the lady that lives in the basement in Barbarian, and then
Clever.
the real face under.
Yeah.
What do we think? How do we think about how did that? Because I was talking to someone about this movie, and they saw it in the theater, and they did not remember that there was a monster at the end.
What?
Yeah.
Isn't that like they
That's crazy.
remember all of the craziness, and they remember her ending her life horribly by lighting herself on fire, but the monster somehow escaped. And I was just wondering, that just seemed very surprising to me because it makes a big deal of it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
This brings up an axe to grind, but it's not on the movie. It is on me, because this movie 2022,
This is a safe space, I promise.
yeah, thank you. Thank you. 2022 was a year of men directing horror movies where old women are scary. It is the year of Barbarian, it is the year of Smile, it is the year of Pearl. So 3 separate films have showcased old women as evil, scary, disgusting, horrible. Why do they even still exist? So that is my own issue that I take on those movies. Again, all of them, there's a reason behind all of that. So I am just like, what is going on where we're so scared? These men are very scared of grandma, have grandma trauma. And so this, I was getting very tired of that trope when I saw it 3 times in a year, on big, like, horror movies that all had a big impact. So, which this one does, but I will say it scared the shit out of me. And,
Sure.
to be clear, and I really like the second, the reveal, second monster, I guess I'll say, because it also felt an homage to 80s. So I'm like, you're giving people this nostalgia of like an 80s kind of creature monster,
Sure.
which I really dig and also thought was very scary. So despite my own issues, I really like both monsters in it. But it's fascinating to me that people don't remember that, because also I think the concept itself within Smile is so scary that I guess it kind of does take a back seat because of all the stuff we've seen before it, especially with the head that comes down in the window when she's in the car. Like, that stuff is incredible, that I think you're so like in shock, I guess, by the end, that maybe it's just like some people, it just washed over them because they're like, what have I just been through?
You're kind of numbed out, maybe. Yeah. I mean, because it comes after also that, the huge betrayal of, I got out, I'm driving home, I'm confessing to my ex-lover, and all of that stuff. I mean, the biggest rug is about to be pulled.
There's another piece of it, though, that's like you go through this entirely cerebral, sort of self-inflicted journey of violence, and then it becomes, it's a monster. Okay. Right. There's a little bit of a deflation to it. Like, the best parts of the movie are not the monster.
Yes.
The monster is a very short part. And I can understand why you might just shelve that. Because the movie's asking bigger questions, and it's making you think about things in a bigger way than just, okay, so monster.
It's kind of taking like a Lovecraftian approach until then. Like, you're just peeking through the door, and then
you'll never know the
truth.
truth.
The door open is like, okay. In Smile 2, the monster has grown quite a bit and is more gross and disgusting. But it's never going to be as horrific as the betrayal of all of these different people. Mothers, ex-lovers, therapists, all of these things turning on you when you're actually just doing it to yourself.
I think you could make a huge case for the fact that the movie Smile didn't need a monster, but Smile 2's use of monster is incredible. And so, when you're talking about things that need to walk before they can run, I think we probably had to have monster in Smile to deserve monster in Smile 2.
Absolutely. I love the Lovecraftian comparison. Giving it this sort of idea. I actually have never thought about it in a cosmic horror sense. And I love that. Also because to me, it feels like, where did it come from originally? It feels parasitic. Right. So it's like the way it spreads and the way it catches. And that's, I love that. I'm going to be using that going forward, talking about this movie.
I'm pretty sure Paramount's working on an 8-part prequel series that's the origin story from the perspective of the Smile Monster, when it was probably a little girl who grew up to an old lady who is terrifying. You're going to love it, Chelsea, is what I'm saying. You're going to love
it. It is reminiscent, the idea of infection, parasitic, of whatever that word is that happens to ants. Which I'm glad happens to ants, because ants are terrible, but the zombification
of how the cordyceps
they
virus,
go to the top and then they pass it along by having the spores come out. It's sort of following that type of thing.
Yeah.
It would be, that's interesting. Like, I desperately want to know where it came from, and I absolutely don't want to know where it came from for the same reason that I want to see the monster, and then as soon as I see the monster, I'm like,
put it away.
Like, don't show me how the magic trick is done, because then I'm like,
I know. I know. I'm saying I want this, but you just need to know I don't. You should have known.
Yeah.
I didn't need it because the whole point of it is that this monster's been there forever. Yeah. The monster's been there all along. We don't need it. We just need to know that this is what happens because humans are complex, and when we're dealing with hard things, the monsters come out.
Yeah.
Right. Anything else? I think I'm ready to move on to Smile 2.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Okay. Smile 2, any axes to grind?
It's not long enough. I didn't get enough of it.
If I have anything, but again, this is like a fake axe to grind, like my last one. It's a little copycatty of the first one, but it's a definite escalation. But it really follows a lot of the same moves, just in a bigger thing. So, like, instead of falling through a table at a party, Skye throws a lady off a stage onto a table. Instead of learning the therapist isn't real with a call, it's the lie that is Gemma, is revealed to have been taking place for a lot of the movie in the same way, that you're getting a call from the person when you're with the demon version of that person. Instead of failing, like we said, to call 911 for your overdose mom, this time you wrench the wheel. I'm fine with it because it takes it to such I really admire how this movie didn't stay small. Meaning a very personal, to be like, oh no, I want to have the monster attack Lady Gaga is so brave and is such an escalation and is perfect. Because the idea of wearing masks and the alternate reality of what is real and what is celebrity is, just dissect that. Celebrities live in a world of smile all the time. And so I really am fine with that. I enjoy that. And I really like how this movie throws self-control and addiction into the mix also.
Yes.
I said I had an active grind, and instead I just gave the movie a bunch of compliments. Sorry. You were saying.
I know one of the complaints has long been that, we've just made the principal character, going from the principal character who's like a down-to-earth therapist that we can all relate to a global superstar that no one can relate to. So how do you empathize with this character? But I do think that, that's part of the gambit of this movie. That's the sequel's gambit of this movie, is that we're making this principal character constantly surrounded by people. She is never alone, certainly never alone as Rose was, and yet she is still alone when it comes to facing this thing. And how that is the movie's great sleight of hand, that it's able to make her feel alone when she's never alone, right? She's
Right.
always got people pulling her in so many different directions. Even when she's alone in her house, she's got all the creepy faces climbing the walls coming down. That sequence was mind-blowingly good. That was incredible as they're
Are you
coming
talking
down
about
the hall every time
the
she looks
dancers?
away.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hate those guys.
We will get there. Before that, I want to start with what Chelsea was talking about how the character that witnesses Rose take her life and gets infected at the end of the first one.
Oh, yeah.
That we start with almost like the cold open of this movie, with him trying his cop's best to pass it on to a worthy person and failing. You said you didn't see that. I didn't. To have him show up in the very first frame, I was like, oh, and then it says 4 days later. I was like, what? Oh,
Direct
no.
sequel.
Yeah. To just
Yeah.
go one, and then we're especially going to talk about the potentiality for what is coming next.
Yeah. I mean,
if there's Smile 3, but we'll get there at the very end. But
that opening
was there
incredible.
anything? Yeah. Did you? I mean, and it's really good filmmaking too. It's a faked oneer, but it's a really good faked oneer.
Yeah.
And of course, it ends with our first hidden smile. I don't have a picture of it, but after he's hit by the car, that's the first time that we start to see in the blood stream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that stuck out about that opening for you?
I think you got to really be you've really got to be paying attention, because if you're not, you see Lucas Gage Lewis, the character Lewis, you see him so quick that if you're not, you don't see much of him for very long. So if you're not fully paying attention to the opening, and you're not, you might not connect that he's
the
Sky
same
comes
guy.
to see.
Yeah.
Right.
That if you are, looking at someone who's looking at their phone, or you're like, if you're distracted in the theater and you miss that moment, which is very important to connecting it later on. Not saying that maybe this happened to me when I watched it for the first time.
Oh no, really?
Yeah. So, but
oh, interesting.
yeah. So I remember we're seeing it in the theater, and someone was on their phone when the movie was starting, because people are assholes.
Okay.
And I was looking, and I was like, "Hey, turn off your phone," because I'm an asshole. I don't give a fuck. But by the time I looked back, he was already, like, that scene. It was right in that moment. And then I saw, the other drug dealers come in. So then when we cut to Sky going to see Lewis, I was like, why is this guy infected? And my partner had to lean over, and he said, well, he was in the opening. I was like, what? Where? So upon rewatching it, then I was like,
sure,
that is a huge piece of information that I missed the first fucking time.
Well, it's so interesting because it's almost, that opening almost feels like a trailer for a different movie. It is tonally very different. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And there is an enormous amount loaded there. The real clue is just when the guy from the first one, my apologies, I don't remember his name, but saying this wasn't meant for you.
Joel.
When things go awry. Joel, when things go awry. But yeah, there's an enormous amount. And you're right that it really seems more like a scene from Task or some sort of HBO show. Yes. Until he gets hit by the grossest car in the entire world.
I remember when we were talking about Access to Grind. I just remembered. It's not an axe to grind. It is an interesting storytelling choice, but it's something that I just thought about when we meet Sky, like after this cold open. That version of Sky is the best version of herself, because she's obviously gone through this trauma. The person she was when that trauma happens seems like a pretty horrible person.
Right.
And like what they kind of insinuate, how her behavior, obviously there's dealing with addiction and all these other things, but that, which we will talk about, but that scene with her in the reveal with she's talking to her boyfriend or fiance, it's a pretty rough scene to watch. And the choice to show her post that, she's done work on herself, she's not, this is her, it's so we're going to show you the best version of this woman, because maybe not confident we could get you on board with the previous version of her, like, as an audience, to invest in her. It's sort of like, not that I'm saying women can't be flawed, but, and she is flawed, her current character is flawed, but it was sort of like, okay, well, we got to really make her super likable for people to get on board with the journey she's going to be on, especially when we reveal who she was beforehand. Not an axe to grind, just an interesting choice. And her whole look is different. She goes from the brunette to like the super short blonde hair, and how, you see her snap at the people who work for her once or twice, but very quickly and very subtly, and is immediately like, sorry, like clearly doing a lot of work on herself, making us believe that, oh, the person she was before the accident was a nightmare, because that's what fame can do to you. You're just trying to protect yourself at all times. And sometimes that means you got to be nasty to people to get them to leave you alone. Like, but I just think that was an interesting choice.
Yeah. That's
and
really good.
They're both so horrible to each other. Like, he's also like the worst. Yeah.
How can you be engaged to this person? He's an
they're
asshole.
the most toxic thing in the entire
horrible.
world.
Yeah.
Pete.
It's the fact that they made this character who we think is going to be sort of, vain and insufferable, and they actually, through her trauma, made her self-aware, and that is actually what puts her at even greater risk.
Yeah.
And so while the first movie asks, so here's a self-aware, like, down-to-earth person, what if no one believes her, right? This movie's like, what if this now self-aware person who's learned a lot and has everyone watching and still no one believes her and can help? It's like her own healing has made her at greater risk. And exploring this through all the crazy parasocial relationships with, the fans who have fallen in love with her and think they know her and consume her in these sort of ways as content. It all puts her at even greater risk.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, they don't see someone struggling; they see someone relapsing.
Right.
Yes.
And that's a big difference. Like she's already written that narrative. People are ready to see her just fall into that. Right. There is some of the same color palette. I promise I won't go through all of it, but there is a lot of red and blue. And the yellow, if you don't mind, Pete, going to Smile 8. This is not the monster, but I like the idea that the pills are yellow because I think it sort of mimics the idea of the oblivion she was putting herself through her addiction.
They're a monster.
That having drugs,
for sure.
Yeah, exactly. That having those that they. Oh, yeah. I was about to say what you were said, but again, because I like what you said just now. Yeah, they're the monster. They were the original demon to defeat, and so I like that. And then just one more, just out of for fun. Smile 10 when Lucas is in the throes. There's the yellow.
There's
with a lot of blue, with a lot of blue stripes in the background. Okay, I won't keep perseverating on color, but there's one other really big visual motif that I think is used throughout, which I really love, and this is my favorite one of it. If you go to Smile 11, the sheer amount of mirror imagery throughout this movie, I love it because. Well, what do you take from that? What is the important? And he takes the time to set up multiple impossible shots where the camera's looking right at the mirror, and of course you don't see the camera. So he really wants you to be like mirrors, mirrors, mirrors. What did you guys take from that?
Do you think he set those up, or was that digital?
Both. I think both. Yeah, there's definitely some they got a lot of VFX money for this movie, but
a lot.
I love the mirrors. I'm so glad you brought it up. I had it on I was like, make sure mirrors are brought up.
Sure.
Yeah.
But also I think if there's so many things, like obviously when talking about mirrors in cinema, but this person, Sky herself, which has trouble looking at herself in a mirror. She has troubles with, obviously she's got some body issues, especially she's like, I can't wear this outfit because you can see the scar. She's like really self-conscious about things like that. She likes to she performs in a certain costume, but likes to wear oversized things when she's out and about.
Right.
And so to feel free, but also to be in disguise a little bit. But also I'm sure like she's definitely a character who doesn't love herself because of what she was responsible for to an extent. So I think having a hard time just seeing herself in any mirror in any capacity and these different versions of herself. Who am I today? Definitely still don't love myself because she's still doing the work on herself. And also makes her more vulnerable. to the
Right.
parasite that is Smile. And all the different ways the mirrors are used too. Like all these shots for someone who is clearly self-conscious about it, they're around her all the time. So she's forced to reflect on herself and her behavior all of the time, nonstop.
Yeah. And it speaks to the idea again of celebrity. What are you seeing? Are you seeing reality or a reflection
Yeah.
of reality for you? The movie begins with a really interesting which she's being interviewed by Drew Barrymore on Drew's talk show. And it does this slow zoom in on her, but then eventually we go onto the set. Like in one pretty much uncut shot, what we're watching as we would as a fan, we're now in the studio and the filming changes. And so it's that constant playing of what are we really seeing? Which again has to do with wearing smiles as masks.
Yeah.
What are you're not showing the reality that's inside.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, for her, it's that we level up because she's also got the celebrity factor, right? She has her public persona, which is always camera ready and polished and smiling, and the private person who is constantly traumatized and in chronic pain, right? And grieving. And we have the cursed victim, right? That's sort of the third haunted, unraveling, seeing things. And every time she looks in a mirror, we don't know what we're going to see. Which one of those are we going to see? Are we going to see the cursed victim smiling back at herself, right? That all of those, like the way the mirrors reveal the split between the sort of internal person of Skye, I think is fascinating, and it's never really her.
Yeah. And her survivor's guilt that she's dealing with.
Yeah.
Despite her relationship with him at the very end, that is something I think she's grappling with throughout the movie too. But also is dealing with the survivor's guilt, but is trying to survive herself, like drinking the water when she's feeling her addiction coming out. Like she's still like kind of fresh from all of that. I don't know if they gave us a passage of time between when the accident happens and when the movie like when her journey starts.
I think Drew Barrymore mentions it
a year
really quickly. Something like that.
Yeah. It's not a long amount of time, but
it's and I think it's not in the context of her healing journey. It's in the context of how long she hasn't been in the public spotlight. And I think that's important, right? Nobody's really thinking about what it took for her to heal.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about, we've just missed your content.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
The lie that is Gemma. It is the same conceit as the therapist, but on a much larger scale. Did it work for you? It definitely worked for me. I did not see it coming. It was only on second rewatching that I saw that he did a Sixth Sense, that he put her in a scene with someone else, not acknowledging her. And she just says, "Hey, Elizabeth," Gemma says to the mom. The mom does not look towards her. There's no cut back. She's just saying, "Hello, Elizabeth," for Skye's benefit to hear from the other room, I guess. That's a pretty gnarly trick.
Oh, it's brutal. Oof, the reveal. It's, again, so good. So well done.
Yeah. And it makes, also rewatching, like, Gemma does call her back way too fast. They haven't talked for forever, and she does just sort of come over, and then that's the first time that she loses time. Also, she's like, "How did you get here so fast? What do you mean an hour?" So it's just setting, it's like a conductor, the monster at that part. It's just setting all of the beginning, setting all the stage for what's coming. There's a lot of hidden smiles in both of these movies. I didn't bother with most of them, but I have two. These are two of my favorites. If you go to Hidden Smile 1, I just like these because this one shows up before really anything is happening. That's just a little smile in the background of the painting. And this is my second favorite, Hidden Smile 2, on her leg. That's her scar.
Oh my gosh. I'd never noticed that.
That is a smile that is actually like a part of her.
Yeah.
So there's many more to find. And you can also go crazy. Like, I stopped taking pictures because I was like, well, not every necklace is a smile. Like, so but there is one that I wanted to point out.
Is it
this
Smile
is actually
Necklace?
from Smile Necklace. This is actually from Smile number 1. This necklace, that's the monster with all of the different mouths once the monster is revealed.
Yeah.
it kind of looks like that's what it ends up looking like. So it's just all
Yeah.
those smiles. But yeah, everyone is wearing necklaces. Every single person is wearing, and then multiple, as when we get into Rockstar time, multiple necklaces. And you don't really notice because that just seems of fashion. But then you see the monster who is growing mouths very fast.
Right.
He's a smiley guy. Oh, and then sure, smile mug, Pete. That's like one of the most obvious, but I like it.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah. Fair.
I also, one of the things that I talked about when I was teasing this episode way back is I said that I think it's using jump scares in a really exciting way.
Yep.
That there are jump scares that are very, you've seen them, they're still effective. I think a lot of that has to do with the score and the alien, that when the jump scare happens, it's not violins going squink. It's that weird morphing gross kind of thing.
Yeah.
But in Smile 2 in particular, there are two jump scares that I like. You're expecting something, but he gives you something that is so more than you were possibly expecting that for me, I describe it like it breaks your brain. You can't. And so if you can go to Smile 12, Pete, this is when she's in bed with who we think is Gemma, and Gemma becomes a crashing car. That I'm expecting her to like move or scream or something. I certainly wasn't expecting this, and it drives me crazy. It's overwhelming, the breaking of reality to me.
So good.
It's
then, of
unsettling
course-
watching this, just looking at this as a still shot of the
I
movie.
know,
It
it
goes
sucks.
by so fast. It's crazy.
It's very
Yeah.
confident filmmaking.
Yeah.
Really is.
Very
And then
confident.
this was brought up before by Pete. If you go to Smile 13, this is the other groundbreaking, not groundbreaking, mind-breaking, to have that many people in her place in a blank shot. We've seen so many times of people barely like chiaroscuro, like sort of blending into the dark background, and to just have this. And it's so cool to have that one woman in white just really popping
Yes.
Yeah.
as soon as they turn this off. Pete, you were talking about how cool that whole sequence is when she's being hunted by her background dancers.
Every time she looks away,
Yeah.
and then looks back, they're closer to her.
So-
There is this gets to a real sort of primal anxiety, fear that I have. There's a video game
Dancing. Oh.
for the PlayStation VR 2, which is just like that, where it's watching your eyes and you're on rails and you're going through this haunted mansion, and every time you close your eyes, the bad things get closer to you. And so you have to keep your eyes open.
Whoa.
So every time you blink, they get closer to you.
That's
The
like
more
a-
nervous you get, you
Yeah.
blink more. That's how you get got, is all I'm saying. And
Oh.
and so this is a manifestation of that fear. Like, you don't know what's going on when you're not looking. And I think it's such a beautiful manifestation of celebrity too, right? She
Yeah.
plays these concerts. As soon as she goes off stage, she doesn't know what people are thinking about her, what people are doing in her name, with her likeness, her image, her smile, all of that. You never know what's going on behind your back. And what a horrific sequence
So good.
to demonstrate that.
And it's so smart to use. They're obviously real dancers because
Yeah.
they
Yes.
move over the furniture like water.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing. They're so still from like their chest up, but everything else is just,
It's
nothing
incredible.
can
It's
stop
core
them.
strength, baby. Core
Core
strength.
strength.
They did their planks.
I want to know what you guys think. I think the end of this scene, when they in effect sort of enter her, this I think is, and then we cut to black. I think this is the demarcation line of nothing after it until the concert is in reality. So I think the first meeting with Morris
Yeah.
in the bar is real, but I don't think anything after is. And so I think that everything is just her. She's obviously going through her life. It's like the entity has taken such control that she's putting her in an outfit and getting her on stage, but
Yep.
she's living this completely other reality, kind of like being trapped in that therapist office.
In the
And you
therapist's
look-
office,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
Laura's liminal space, right?
Right.
This is what it's like to be completely taken over and not understand it.
I
and
agree.
I love that she's wearing when the reveal happens, she's wearing the one outfit where she was like, I hate this outfit.
Yeah.
It's such an FU from the demon. And also it's the dress that she says the reason she doesn't like it is it's so revealing of her scar. So the demon is just laying her bare. And then that leads us to the end. We know how this passes, and this just passed on to a stadium
Stadium.
of people. What I mean, I know he's making another one. How big do you think this, because this could be like
it's a pandemic now.
I
Right.
wonder how much we would go that way, or if he's just or if somehow she just gives it to one of the, her assistant or her mom or Darius, whatever those guys.
Yeah.
There's 3 people in that audience that we know.
Did you guys see that coming though? First of all, did you see the way this ended coming? Was it telegraphed so cleanly for you the first time you saw it?
You mean the reveal that she's on stage?
Yeah, that she's coming out of the egg and she's on stage, and that the monster would reveal itself and that she would die in front of all those people.
I kind of felt like that was what was going to happen. I was like, why is she on stage otherwise? Like, why would she be performing? Like, it was so, wait, we're here now? This is not right.
Yeah.
Something is not right here.
That was my experience. It was I didn't get it. Because I think part of my brain wanted to believe like, oh no, of course they wouldn't do that. Of course they wouldn't do that in front of a stadium. This is a much more intimate. They wouldn't, out of her mouth. Like, how is it happening like this? And it wasn't until the end that I realized, oh my God, these are the implications now of her career that we've been building up to from our introduction to her, that she as a public persona has been manipulated to get to this point. And it felt like such pristine narrative architecture that hit me like a ton of bricks. I didn't get it until I think just the right moment, right? I felt like I was in the dark until I needed to have it illuminated. It was perfect.
And there's a nice, especially because we're talking about addiction, there's a nice escalation and change of the final monster. We don't get Barbarian Lady. Who is she fighting both in the Pizza Hut freezer and on stage? Herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, herself.
She is her own enemy. She is crawling out of herself. Ugh, okay, gross. Yeah. And then she puts the mic in her face, and that's a little goofy for me, but I like the idea of it more than I like the actual image. And then, did you listen to all of the Pete? I know Chelsea was nodding her head. Did you listen to the end score? There's a song of her playing, and then it goes like in Smile 1, it gives it over to the score, but not score. It's those weird sounds.
Yeah, the weird industrial sounds.
And that is the distortion of her when she's in the tree. That's her crying and screaming with her first big trauma, but distorted in part to go backwards so it actually sounds like laughter, which is so disgusting. There were actually, when this movie came out, there were TikToks that were released by teenagers that worked at movie theaters talking about how horrible it was cleaning up the theater because they worked there during that soundtrack. They were like, oh my God. That sometimes they would wait until that was done because they couldn't just be walking around in the dark having her screaming and laughing and all of that. They couldn't stand it.
Oh my God.
And I think isn't the end credits the only time, well, maybe not, that we hear one of her songs in full? Because every time she starts a song, she never gets to finish it.
Yeah.
Right.
Except for the end credits. And do you remember did you guys ever see the posters they had, the Sky Riley posters they had in Los Angeles before the movie was announced? Or not announced.
No.
Where it was like, they had these I think they were like tour posters or something. I have to look up what they were, but there were rumors going on that was for Smile 2.
Huh.
Wow.
But they were playing it straight, like actual concert.
Yeah, let me see if I can find.
That's so cool.
And did you guys see the movie Lemonade Mouth?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. There we go.
Okay, because Naomi Scott was in it and was a musician.
There we go. So Sky is
Sky is limitless. That's awesome.
So those were popping up around town, and then people kind of figured out what this was for, if I remember correctly.
I love that kind of stuff.
So making it look like, it's a concert. And it's, Too Much for One Heart, World Tour. Yeah, Sky is Limitless. That's it. And then
That's awesome.
if you cross it out, it says Smile 2.
Oh,
Get outta here!
Oh,
They were
that's
like
so
manipulating
good.
it to look like
So
that.
cool.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you
so
for sharing
good.
that. That's great.
So that's
Wait,
how
what's
people kind of
Lemonade
figured it
Mouth?
out, if I remember correctly.
What's Lemonade Mouth? Lemonade
Yeah.
Mouth was a movie. It was, I don't know, I think it was Disney. Maybe it was Disney. I'm pretty sure it was a Disney movie, but it came out right when my kids were the perfect age for it. It was like Breakfast Club meets Glee kind of a thing where these kids were on detention and they form a band.
Yeah.
And Naomi Scott was in it and is one of those sort of standout performers as a musician in this band Lemonade Mouth. And they released a successful album as Lemonade Mouth. And it was kind of a thing for a
She's
while.
incredible in this.
She
Yeah.
is
I mean,
really,
She's
really
incredible.
What a performance. I was just like,
Yeah.
how? Because I was looking up, what else has she been in since this? Because obviously she was in a Lemonade Mouth, Aladdin. Was it Aladdin that she was in?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I was like, where, like, this performance was so incredible. What is, how, I just thought not enough people talked about it. I think when people were talking
Right.
about, like, I know award season, not everyone talks about horror movies, but I was like, that performance definitely should have been recognized more than it was.
Films are really bad at two things. Generally, there's always outliers in making pop stars seem like actual pop stars and making stand-up comedians seem like actual stand-up comedians. Like, it's always just writer's room versions of that. This, she really feels like it's a real, I mean, and all the choreography and the whole Doctor, I Need a New Brain dance sequence. It's just, and Parker really knows how to film it.
Yeah.
Like, he goes into music video mode, which is really exciting.
Totally.
Is there anything else that's pretty, one other thing, this occurred to me yesterday, about the color palette. We were talking about the pink or red and blue,
Mhm.
rose, sky,
Mhm.
Yeah. Nice.
red, blue.
Yeah.
And then the doctor's name was Dr. Yellow. Just kidding.
Okay,
Is there
I just have to add, if you go into Apple Music and Spotify, I assume you can search for the artist Sky Riley and see that she has an album, an EP called the Sky Riley EP, and that has 6 songs on it. And one of the singles is called "Blood on White Satin."
Oh God,
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, so all those
Anything
songs,
else?
you can hear the whole thing that she did that would keep getting cut
I
off.
love these
I think that's
picks.
great.
Anything else? Thank you. I am done with that. Thank you and Pete, thank you for putting all the music, the pictures up and stuff. I know I try to be as annoying as possible, but thank you. I'm glad.
I love when it's
I'm glad that
interactive.
you guys liked these. I'm glad. I thought this turned out nice, and I'm a really big fan.
Same.
Big fan, rightfully so. I love this. I love the series, and I wonder what is happening next month.
Huh.
What? So does everybody. It is my turn to do next month, and Tom, before we started, gave me lots of excuses that I should use to make you think that this is all planned, but mostly I just haven't finished figuring out what I'm doing next month.
Yep.
So that will be released later. I don't know what's coming, but it'll be something, January based.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that would look like. So it'll happen in Discord and online. We'll let everybody know so you can watch ahead. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We love having you here. We appreciate your time and your attention. If you'd like to get involved and get these episodes early, head over to truestory.fm/join and join up. You'll get access to the entire Next Reel family of podcasts, membership community. You'll get early access to all the episodes across 5 different shows. 5, I tell you. And you will also get double secret access to the secret Discord community. We'd love to have you in there. It'll be great. It's really fun. On behalf of Chelsea Stardust and Tommy Metz III, our esteemed instructor, I'm Pete Wright, and we'll see you right back here next month, sitting in the dark.